Now, Conklin and Company continues with Take 3, commentary and analysis from our panel of political contributors.
Welcome back, everyone. So you say you're new to town and you want to find out about this Toledo mayor's race. Well, you might want to Google Burris Blade or Burris Toledo mayor and just go back into the archives and you'll find all about the race for mayor in 2013. Keith Burris is the new columnist, relatively new now, right? With the Toledo Blade. He joins us in Take 3 this morning. Keith, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I guess welcome back to town.
Right.
You came back when? This past summer? Started writing columns?
In March.
Oh,
yeah.
in March. I mean,
Yeah.
we started really seeing you in earnest, start writing about the primary coming up.
Right.
Or the candidates before the primary.
Yeah.
But you were here when?
In the 80s, late 80s. So I came back after a 25-year absence.
City manager form of government?
Yeah, we had a manager
the transition,
then.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Phil Hockey, Tom Hoover,
Phil Hockey was manager.
John Alexander.
Yeah, and some players who are players now were players then.
Yeah.
Cardi was around. Jack Ford was around. Donna Owens was mayor.
Yeah. You bet.
So,
still players, no question about it. And even
Yeah.
if we don't see them, well, we see Jack Ford now prominently running, but we certainly know that Cardi, Donna Owens are out there.
Yeah.
There is input.
Part of the community.
Yeah. So 4 columns a week, and to be honest, most of them, Keith, are about the mayor's race right now.
That was our publisher, John Block. That was his idea, was to focus like a laser beam on this race and to sort of funnel all the other issues and questions sort of and personalities through that race. So that's what we're doing.
And he set you free. He said, go do it. Right?
He
right?
did. Yeah.
And so you, Keith, have been truly all over this mayor's race, and we do it as best we can. We cover it pretty much every day as well. But you go to almost every forum, it appears, and there have been 372 forums.
I've lost count.
So,
it seems like more, yeah.
And now, what's new coming from these, if anything, Keith? I think the other night you were at a forum in South Toledo, and it got a little bit heated. But what's new coming from these?
It did get heated. I think the big thing is that the forums have really begun to shape the race, so that the forums are neighborhood forums for the most part, and neighborhood concerns have become kind of the center of this race. And I think that's surprised everybody.
Well, neighborhood concerns, but it always goes back to where the mayor will talk about the deficit, right? Mm-hmm. And the councilman will criticize him and say, well, it wasn't a $48 million deficit.
Right, yeah.
You guys did your work and said, yeah, it was a $48 million deficit. But you say it comes down to the neighborhoods. So these forums do matter in a major way.
Oh, I think they matter tremendously. And I think what I've been impressed by since I've been back is the seriousness of Toledo citizens and readers. I get amazing letters and emails.
I bet you do.
Phone calls. Well, amazing in all senses, but they're very serious, thoughtful, and
Good.
That's what I see in the public in this race. Very attuned public, a very attentive electorate, and the turnout was not good in the primary in terms of numbers, but in terms of quality, I think it's outstanding. I've never worked or lived in a city where people were so serious about public issues, and so I think that through these forums and the debates that's really shaped this race. And though the candidates try to stick to their talking points, they're pulled into the concerns about poverty, housing, shelters, water, economic development. It's really the
quality of life issues.
Yeah, it's really the citizens who are driving the race.
It's interesting when you wrote about the mayor at a forum the other night that people were ready to let him have it, and by the end of the night you felt he had won many of them over.
Yeah, he worked at it. He worked an hour and a half with a very small crowd, and that's interesting too. This is a retail race. Now I think we'll start to see TV ads, but one-to-one, small groups. I went with Councilman Collins going door to door the other night. He believes he got through the primary through his door-to-door campaign. So it's
He's a tireless worker too.
Yeah, he is.
He's not a young fella.
Yeah,
or a real young fella anymore.
But he works hard, and this is what they call in the political trade retail politics. So,
It really is fascinating, and I feel like we've gotten to know your coverage, your columns, and also from the standpoint that Mike Collins and Mike Bell have been around a long time, that we know who these people are pretty well now.
yeah.
But the debates, while the forums make a difference, I really feel that the debates make a difference too. And if we can go back to that debate, and this is not, I'm not trying to be self-serving here, but I really felt this debate, the mayoral primary debate,
Yeah.
was a good sketch of who these candidates are. Really went a long way in determining who was going to be left.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that debate really revealed the candidates, to some extent the actual people behind the candidates, behind the candidacies, who these guys really are. There they are, yeah. And
now we have some more coming up now with just the two of them.
yeah,
How important will those be?
I think they'll be key. I think that debate really lifted Michael Collins, and I think it was an unhappy or unfortunate moment for Anita Lopez. And I think these debates could be equally important. I think you've got a very attuned public. People are going to be watching them closely. And so these guys are under some pressure.
Home
And
stretch now, 2 weeks.
It's a home stretch, and I think everyone senses it's a close race.
Yeah. What are you going to do when it's over? What are you going to write about?
All the issues we've been writing about, but maybe through different prisms than just the mayor's race. The urban issues of the city, the great things about the city that are maybe unheralded, and the interesting characters. I've been sort of introducing characters in the column, important people in the city, not just political. And Toledo has an almost Dickensian variety of great and interesting characters, and so I don't think I'll be short of material.
No doubt. We'll be looking forward to it. 4 a week. It's a tough grind, Keith Burris.
It is.
We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you very much.
Please come back.
My pleasure.
Conklin
Thank
and Company. And when we come back next week, we'll have another thrilling 30 minutes here on Conklin and Company. Make it a great Sunday, everybody. We'll see you next week and all this week on 13 ABC Action News. Take care.